any queries related to the first unit, you can just ask Ma. The logical database design, few of the things are left out, which we'll be having in the second unit. So I have sent you the PPT already. If at all, you just go through the PPT for 5 minutes. You have any questions? BNF, what is BNF, Anil? $520, what is BNF? That is BCNF, Ma, not BNF. That will come in the third unit for you. The normalization process, have just given a briefing in schema refinement step of database design. So that would be coming for you in the third unit with complete examples. Don't worry about that as of now, BCNF. Boy's code normal form. So you will be having 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, 3.5, 4, and 5 normal forms. So 3.5, usually we go with 1, 2, 3, BCNF, 4NF, and 5NF. You'll be working with all the normal forms in normalization, wherein you're trying to eliminate the problems caused by redundant data. Okay, is that okay? So do you have any questions in the first unit, Ma, which is not clear? All of you? Yes, please respond. What about the others? Okay. Still, there are only 3 in the class, Ma. Delivery date, if at all you're giving a direct date, Ma. So if at all I say that your package would be delivered delivered by 25th of April, if at all you say, then you can't say that it's a derived one. or if at all you say, if at all it would be delivered within a week. So from the current date, if at all you are trying to calculate 7 days post this particular day, then you can say it's a derived one. But if at all you're giving a perfect date for the delivery date, take it as a simple attribute. So directly give a date to that and take it as a simple attribute. Because sometimes it might not be clear whether how I'm taking the post date and how I'm taking the current date. So again, you can say what is the number of days for which my package would be delivered. That could be a derived one, but take delivery date as a simple attribute. Is that okay, Surya? Fine. Any more questions, Ma? Yeah, make it fast. Okay, all of you note down the questions I'm going to give you, Amma. This would be your assignment for the first unit. Note down the questions. I hope I'm clear and audible to all of you. So the first question, what are the roles of database administrator? Explain briefly. What are the roles of database administrator? Explain briefly. The first question. I hope you are making a note of the questions I'm giving you. You have to submit the answers for this month. Second one, brief about EER with neat diagrams. Brief about EER with neat diagrams. Third one, draw an ER model. Draw an ER model to represent online shopping. Draw an ER model to represent online shopping. This should include the relationships, different kinds of attributes, different kinds of entities, everything in a single diagram. And next, brief about the process of query processor with a neat diagram. Query processor with a neat diagram. Yes, Prajwal, is there any problem? Hi, Prajwal. The fourth one, differentiate between file systems and database management systems. Differentiate between file systems and database management systems. So I think I've given you 5 questions, Ma. 5 are done or 4? Please respond. Okay, fine. So try to write these 5 answers by next Tuesday, Ma. I think I'm giving you sufficient time for that. I'm giving you a week, daily 1 answer also you can write, no issues, but try to write it clearly and see to it you are completely thorough with the unit 1. So these 5 questions, I'll ask you what you need to do with the assignment, how you need to submit to me. Is that okay, ma? So, did any one of you complete the ER model that I've given to you? Or at least you're working on that? Okay, I think tomorrow you have to submit that. You have to put the soft copy. Okay, fine. Thank you, ma. Now, shall I go with the second unit, or do you want something to be covered in the first unit, ma? Okay, how many different kinds of cardinality mapping are existing? How many different types of cardinality mapping are existing? 4. 4. Okay. Could you name them? Ma, I see the attendance as 58 and only 2 or 3 are answering. What about the others? I have to specifically call with roll numbers, ma. 7E, good. Good. 6Y, 7D, 22, 19, fine. Can anyone define participation constraints, ma? Participation constraints. I'm not asking you the type, ma. What do you mean by? Okay, what do you mean by total participation? What do you mean by total participation? Specifies entities participating in the entity. Is it in the entity or in the relationship, Surya? Relationship. Okay, okay. Each entity must be part of at least one relationship. Using a double line between the entities. Good, ma. Good. Okay, fine. What are the 3 levels of abstraction? What are the 3 levels of abstraction? What are the 3? Physical, view, logical? Which level? Now, can you give the differences between file system and DBMS, ma? Any 2 or 3 differences between DBMS and file system? The major differences between files and file system and your DBMS. Inconsistency, redundant data is present in a file. Okay. Security. Still, difficult to delete data in file system. Why is that so, Anil? Data atomicity, fine. Integrity problems. 68, that is integrity, Amma. File system is less expensive. Okay. Backup and recovery of data. That is with respect to DBMS or file system advantage, Jahnavi? DBMS, good. Okay. Okay. So, fine, ma. No efficient query processing in file system. Good. That's a good one. Right. So I hope at least something is going into your minds. Fine. DBMS is more complex. Okay, fine, ma. So I think I'll be starting off with the second unit as of now. Okay. So second unit is introduction to relational model, ma. It will talk about relational model, wherein you're going to work with the integrity constraints, enforcing integrity constraints, and then the most important part is querying your databases. That would be a bit interesting because you'll be working with the practical approaches of database management systems. Then I told you you'll be working with conversion of ER model into relational model. Already few of the things we have done, and other parts we'll be doing in the second unit, which is nothing but logical database design. Then you will be working with the concepts of virtual tables. It's nothing but it's called as a view. How you are going to create views, how you are going to destroy views, how you are going to create a table, how you are going to destroy tables, all that stuff. We already know how to create a table. So we have worked with that particular aspect, working with creation of tables. And then you'll be having the theoretical part of queries, which is nothing but, if you remember in query processor, I told you, you will be having something called as relational algebra. Okay. So that particular part along with TRC and DRC. TRC stands for tuple relational calculus. DRC stands for domain relational calculus. So this is a briefing about what you're going to learn in your second unit. And to start with, we'll work with integrity constraints over relations. We'll work with integrity constraints over relations. Okay. So integrity constraints are a set of rules which the data needs to follow. It is defined as a set of rules and it ensures that insertion, updation, and deletion have to be performed in such a way that data integrity is not affected. So the integrity of the data should not be affected while you're performing the set of operations that needs to be performed. So in our case, when the integrity would be affected is when you're performing an insertion, updation, and deletion, usually. So retrieving of data does not violate anything. And already the DBA would be checking the conditions for that. Okay. And majorly, why we are using the concept of integrity constraints is to guard against accidental damage of the database. So it should not lead to any misuse or any accidental deletion or updation of data. That particular thing should not happen. That is the reason we are going to work with integrity constraints. Maybe the data should not be affected. Whatever the data is present should not be affected. And usually we are working with 4 kinds of integrity constraints. It's clearly given. Integrity constraint. First one is domain constraint. Second is entity integrity constraint. Third one is referential integrity. And the last one is key. So you're going to work with domain, entity integrity, referential integrity, and the last one, key constraint. And the most simple one would be the domain constraint. The most simple one would be the domain constraint. And usually you get confused while you're going to work with referential integrity constraint, wherein you're trying to combine 2 tables. You're going to combine 2 tables. How you're going to combine 2 tables? All that stuff we'll be working with. Okay. Now, we'll go through each one of these things, domain, entity, referential, and key constraints. So the first one, domain constraints, domain integrity constraints. So it usually checks for the valid set of values which an attribute can take. So it checks for the valid set of values for a particular attribute. Okay. And the data type of a particular domain includes string, character, integer, time, date, so on. And the value of the attribute must be available in the corresponding domain. So if at all you're taking an integer value for a particular attribute, you're defining the data type of an attribute as an integer. So the values you are giving under that particular attribute should belong to the integer domain only. You cannot take any other value apart from that. Okay. Now see, I have an example table with the fields ID, name, semester, and age. ID, name, semester, and age. So what I'm trying to assume is I'm trying to assume age to be a integer. Age to be an integer. So 17, 24, 21, and 19 are all integer values, but the last entry, which is for ID 1004, Morgan, is taken as A, which is the not domain of integer. So it gives you an error. Okay, not allowed. This is not allowed because age is an integer attribute and A is a character attribute. That is the reason this particular value under the domain constraint is not allowed. So whenever you are working with a decimal value, you can go with decimal values. Whenever you're working with an integer value, you cannot go with any other value apart from integer. That is what is stated over here. That is what is stated over here. Okay, ma? Yes, ma. Is it clear? Domain constraints? Is domain constraints clear, ma? Okay. Now, going with the next one, integrity constraints. The entity integrity constraint states that the primary key value of a particular table cannot be null. So integrity constraint states that primary key value cannot be null. And why it cannot be null? Because primary key is used to uniquely identify individual rows in a relation. So if at all I have all the primary key values as null and maybe the same data is there for other attributes, I cannot differentiate between one row from the other from the other. So that is the reason it states that a primary key value of a particular table cannot be null. Now here example is employee ID. I'm taking it as a key attribute. Employee name can repeat, salary can repeat. Now what's happening over here is I'm taking 123, 142 and 164 as the employee IDs. 123, 142, 164. And the next one is null. So it does not have any value for a particular attribute. If at all a particular attribute does not have any value, you're going to put that as null. But since EMP ID is taken as a primary key and the entity integrity constraint states that the primary key value cannot be null, so this particular situation is not allowed. This particular situation is not allowed in. Yeah. Okay. So this is stated with respect to entity integrity constraints. Next, going with the third one, referential integrity constraints. Referential integrity constraints. In the beginning, I clearly told you that referential integrity constraint is specified between two tables. Whenever you usually want to combine two tables with respect to a column, then there arises the situation wherein you are going to work with the concept of a foreign key. You're going to work with the concept of a foreign key. Okay. Now, this is what is mentioned over here. A referential integrity constraint is specified between two tables, and this particular concept is enforced using the concept of a foreign key. This particular constraint is enforced using the concept of a foreign key. Okay. Now, when an attribute in the foreign key of relation R1 have the same domain as the primary key of relation R2, then the foreign key of R1 is set to reference or refer to the primary key of relation R2. Okay, this would be a bit confusing for you, Amma. I'll just give you a small example on this so that it makes it clear. Now, what I'm trying to do over here is, see, I'm taking something called as student table with SID, comma, SName, age, address as the attributes. And what I'm assuming here is SID is the key attribute. That is the reason I'm trying to underline this. Okay. So I have student relation with SID, SName, SH, and address as its attributes, wherein SID is a primary key. And then I'll say I have a grade table, or maybe I'll say account table, which has a fee to be paid by student, semester of the student, account ID, which is taken as a primary key, and lastly, I'll say SID. Only I'm taking account ID as the primary key over here, Amma. The underline came between two attributes. Okay, now see. So what is happening over here is I have two entities. One is student, the other one is account, and every student has to pay the fee. Okay, now this particular student ID here, it is acting as a primary key SID, and the same student ID will be present in the account, which will be acting as a foreign key. So this specifies that there is a reference between account table and student table with respect to the foreign key. So this becomes a foreign key. This becomes a foreign key with respect to the primary key SID. If at all, the domain, if at all, the domain of both SIDs is same. Okay. So now what will happen is, if at all I want to see whether a particular student with a particular SID has paid the fees, I can combine these two tables. I can combine these two tables and see whether a particular student with SID 001 had paid the fees or not. That is what I'm trying to do with respect to referential integrity. Okay. Now see, the values of the foreign key in a tuple of relation R1 can either take the values of the primary key for some tuple in relation R2, or can take null values. Or they can take null values. So whenever I'm working with the concept of primary key, foreign key relationships, if at all in the primary key, I have SID values as 001, 003, 004, and 005. These are the 4 values with respect to student SID. Now, in the account SID also, I can have only these 4 values. In the account SID, I'll write ACC SID. I cannot work with a value 009. Even though a student with roll number 009 exists, I cannot work with 009 because account SID is referencing student SID. Account SID is referencing student SID. And account SID value should be only from the set of values which are present in student SID. Account SID value should be only present in students SID because SID of account is referencing SID of student. And sometimes you can work with null values also with respect to account SID. I hope this is clear, ma. You have any questions, you please ask, ma. Referential integrity. Is it clear? Yes. Please respond. Referential integrity. Okay. Now see, I'll just show you practically how we are going to work with referential integrity, ma. I hope MySQL is visible to all of you. My MySQL command. Okay. Now see, I'm working with the concept of show databases. You just go through this process, ma. Use test show tables. Is it visible, ma? Whatever I'm typing? Whatever I'm typing, is it clear? Okay. Now see, I'll just try to create a normal table without any primary key first. So create table student with SID integer age integer. So see, I've created a table called student with 2 fields without any primary key over there. Now I'm trying to describe that. Describe student. I hope this is clear for you. In order to know how the table was created and what are the different values that are present in the table. Now see, SID integer default size is 11, ma. I haven't given any size for integer. That is the reason the default size has been taken by the compiler. Null value, yes, I can have a null value. Key, I did not mention any key over here, and the default value is also null. Now what I'm trying to do is I'll try to create one more table with a primary key, and lastly I'll be working with the concept of referential integrity. Now see, create table I'm taking T1, create table T1. Here I'm taking SID integer primary key. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make SID of table T1 as a primary key. That is what this particular statement does. So SID int primary key implies that I am trying to make SID of table T1 as a primary key and trying to press enter. So query okay. This particular table has been created. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to describe the table T1. T1. Now see, here what is happening? Describe table T1. Field is SID. The default size, I did not mention any size. So it is integer of 11. Now, previous case, null was allowed. Here, null is not allowed. Entity integrity constraint states that the primary key value of a particular attribute cannot be null. The first constraint, what I told you, Ma. So that is being followed here. So since it is a key attribute, the value null cannot be there. And here key is primary. Previous case, it was not primary. Here I have put something called as primary. Is it okay? Now I'll work with the concept of referential integrity. So create table T2. I'm taking same values here. Then what I have to do is FOREIGN, foreign key SID references T1 SID. Okay, this is what you have to do while you want to work with referential integrity. What I'm trying to do over here is create table T2, SID integer. I told you the domain should be same as the primary key. Here it was SID integer, primary key. So I'm taking SID integer, the default size is 11, age integer, foreign key, what particular attribute I want to take as a foreign key, that particular attribute I'm taking over here. Okay, SID, references T1's SID. Then I'm trying to enter it, query OK. The query is executed. Now what I'm trying to do is describe T2. Now see, I told you in foreign key, null is allowed. If you remember, I told you in foreign key, I can work with null values. See this? Account ID SID 009 is not valued because it is not from this particular set, but null is allowed. That is what I told you. So here null is coming and the key is multiple key. Because it's a foreign key, it is represented by MUL. Okay. Now, what is the domain of integer? It can take any integer value. All of you know that. Now, what I'll do is I'll try to insert one value into T1. So insert into T2 values 1, 1, 1, 2 I have taken. So is this valid set of domain, Ma? This is a valid set of domain, but this particular value will not get inserted into the table. See, I'm getting an error over here. Cannot add or update a child row because a foreign key constraint is existing. Why it is existing? If at all I say select star from T1, it is an empty set. So the value 1, even though it is the domain of an integer, it is not getting inserted because value 1 does not exist for the primary key. Now, what I have to do this is I'll insert the same value into T1 and press enter. Now what I'm trying to do is select star from T1, SID is 1. Now the same statement for T2 I'll do, it is getting affected. Why? Because value 1 exists in SID of primary key. Again, I'm trying to select the values. Select star from T2. Okay. So this is the concept of your referential integrity. Now, if at all I want to insert one more time, 1, I can do. One more time, 1, I can do. Again, I'll work with select star from T2. 3 rows would be coming. But if at all I want to do the same thing into T1, it throws an error. See, duplicate entry, one for key attribute. Because I have to uniquely identify each and every row with respect to a primary key. Primary key does not allow the concept of repeated values. I hope it's clear, Ma. Any questions on referential integrity, please ask, Ma. Anil, what is the problem? You put no. Please respond. You have any issues with referential integrity? What about the others? Is that okay, Ma? So this is the syntax for working with your referential integrity. Any one of you wants to note it down, you can please note it down, Ma. Yes, Ma, is it okay? Now talking about the last constraint, key constraints. Okay, these are called uniqueness constraint since it ensures that every tuple in the relation should be unique. Okay, a relation can have multiple keys or candidate keys, out of which we choose one of the keys as a primary key. Out of which we choose one of the keys as a primary key. Okay. We do not have any restriction on choosing the primary key out of the candidate keys, but it is suggested to go with the candidate key with less number of attributes. Okay. And already I told you, null values are not allowed in the primary key. Hence, not null constraint is also part of a key constraint. Not null constraint is also part of a key constraint. Okay. Now, see, Amma. What is happening while you are trying to choose a key attribute, a primary key attribute? I'll just say, I'm working with something called as a student table with S name, S age, S city, and S state. as the attributes. Which of these four can be a key attribute? Please respond. Which of these four attributes can act as a key attribute? Which of these four can act as a key attribute? Can you please respond to that, Ma? Student with S name, S age, S city, S state. I did not put SID over there, Anil. Can S name be a key attribute 6W? Because I can have two students with same name. Fine. So no attribute can individually form a key attribute, right? No one. Okay, fine. But what will happen is, if at all I'm entering the data, S name is A, age is 22, S city is C1, and S state is S1. Okay. Now again, there might be a student A with same name A, age is 22, city is again C1 and S1. Is there a chance of this happening, Ma? Is there a chance of this happening? So there is a chance of this happening. So I cannot take any individual attribute as a key attribute. Now, whenever you feel that a single attribute cannot be taken as a key attribute, you go with the concept of a composite key attribute. You go with a concept of composite key attribute. So what we are trying to do there is we are trying to combine more than one attribute in order to form a key attribute. Now what I'll do is I'll try to check. I'll try to check S name plus S age. Is it going to form a key attribute? And then I'll check S name plus S city. Then S name plus S state. Individually, I have to check whether these three form a primary key. And if at all this also has the same data, then what I can do is I will add one more attribute to this. S city here plus S state. So on, I try to check. And if at all three attributes together is also not giving me a key attribute, then what I can do is I can take the complete list of attributes as a key attribute, because it will not allow me to enter the same value again and again. And there is very less possibility that all the students will be having all the four common attributes. So that way you have to be careful while you're going to work with your key attributes. Please keep that in mind. Is that okay, Amma? Integrity constraints. Just go through the PPT for 2 minutes. If at all you have any questions, please ask once. I'm just displaying the PPT for you for 2 or 3 minutes. You're able to see the PPT, Isma? Yes, is it clear? All the 4 different kinds of constraints, ma? Any issues? Amma, you are going to work with referential integrity, wherein you'll be trying to combine more than 2 tables also, Amma, sometimes. So be clear and try to practice. So violation of constraints in relational database. Okay, there are usually 3 operations that can cause violation of data. Sorry, violation of constraints. One is insert, the other one is delete, the other one is update. So I clearly told you before the beginning of the session, ma. So these are the 3 operations that might cause violation of constraints. So while you're working with the concept of insert, so inserting is inserting some data into the table. With respect to domain constraint, when domain constraint gets violated is whenever you try to insert a value for a particular attribute that does not belong to the corresponding domain of the data type, usually. So maybe you're trying to I've taken as an example over here. Assume that the domain constraint says that all the values you insert into a particular relation should be greater than 10. And while inserting values into the database, you have inserted 9. The condition was the values you enter into an attribute should be greater than 10. What would be the violation of that? Would be you're trying to insert a value which is lesser than 10. And how you usually do that is you're going to work with something called as a check constraint. So maybe enter, create a table which has values for SID as greater than 100. So this is what you have to do. I'm putting the domain constant condition as the value of a particular attribute should be greater than 100. Now what you're trying to do is create table. I'll do that in create table stud student SID integer sname varchar of 10 followed by sh integer. So this is what I'm trying to do. Now what will happen? I'm trying to insert into stud values 11 comma AAA comma 22. So this is what I'm trying to do. Now, according to my question, you have created the table, that is fine. It is acceptable. But what was my question was, I should be able to only enter the values of SID whose value is greater than 100. Try to analyze whether this particular statement is true or not. Okay. Now, is it satisfying the question, Ma? I have created a table that would be executed. I'm trying to insert some values that would be executed. But this is not with respect to what I've done, what I've asked for. So now what I have to do is, here I'll be adding a constraint. Check SID greater than 100. This is what I need to add. This is what I need to add. This is what I need to add in order to make the query work. But check constraint is not supported by your MySQL, Ma. So we have to work with something called as a trigger. Will work in the future classes. Okay, so this way you have to work. Okay, now see, I'll work with the same example here. I told you, you have to enter for a particular field more than 100. I'm taking that field as I'll be changing the name of the table as T3 because T1 and T2 are already existing. T3. Okay. Created. Insert into T3 values 11, 22. Okay, this is getting affected. What I told you, I want more than 100. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to modify the create table version and making this to T4. Check ID greater than 100. I'm writing this. So again, the table is created, no problem, but I'm trying to insert values. That is also getting affected. So check constraint is not supported by your MySQL. So I will say select star from T4. This would get inserted. So you have to write some complex conditions for this in order for this to work. That is what we have to do, Ma. Is it fine? Is that okay, Ma? Yes, is it clear? Now next. Insert with respect to domain is done. Entity integrity constraint. So if at all I'm trying to insert a null value into a primary key constraint, on inserting null values to any part of the primary key of a new tuple in the relationship, it causes violation. So what will happen? This gives you an error. This gives you an error. So I had a table with a primary key. I hope describe T1. Yeah, this is a primary key. Insert into T1 values null, 22. See, column SID cannot be null because it is taken as a primary key. I can work with 0 because 0 is not null. 0, 22, it is accepted. Select star from T1. So 0, 22, 122. Now, if at all I want to insert one more 0, it gives you an error. So null is not allowed, duplicate value is not allowed while inserting into a primary key attribute. So you have to be careful. Okay. So while you are trying to enter a null value into a primary key, then it gets rejected blindly. Now the next one, key constraints. So that is what I've showed you, Ma. Duplicate values should not exist. Duplicate values should not exist while you are trying to enter a new row into a table. If at all a value for a key is already existing, then you cannot enter same value for the key attribute again. So that is causing a violation. Now referential integrity, I've told you in the beginning only, the values which are present in the primary key, if at all you're trying to enter some other value, it causes a violation. It causes a violation. So this is with respect to your insert, and same way you're going to work with delete. Sometimes what happens is you're trying to delete a key attribute value which is already referenced in the child table. Then what happens is you cannot perform a deletion operation. You cannot perform a deletion operation with respect to primary key value. There you have to use the concept of on delete cascade. that particular concept I'll be letting you know. Don't worry about that. Now see, I'll say select star from T1. I've got two values. Select star from T2. So there is 111 of T1 in T2. Now what I'll do, delete from T1 where age is equal to 22. I'm trying to delete values from table T1. So is 0 existing in T2, Amma? Is value of SID 0 existing in T2? No. So this might get deleted. But this is not getting, 1 second, delete from, oh. So see, what's happening over here is, since the value 0 is not being used in the child table, that particular row gets deleted. So I'll again go with select star from T1. I'll be having only one row. Now I'm trying to delete one more row from T1. What will happen? We'll see. Delete from T1 where age is equal to 2. It is giving you an error. Cannot delete or update a parent row because a foreign key is using this particular SID. So until I remove all these things, I cannot delete this, or else I have to use something called as on delete cascade. That particular syntax and working of on delete cascade we'll be learning in the future classes. So updation also you cannot do. All these stuffs are violation of your integrity constraints, or you can indirectly say enforcing integrity constraints over relationships, over relations. Okay, so any questions, ma, in today's class? Any questions in today's class? Please respond. What about others, ma? So integrity constant over relations, we have studied 4, ma. What are the 4 things? Can you put it on the chat? What are the different kinds of integrity constraints? Domain, domain, referential key, entity integrity, key constraints. Okay. So can I have repeated values for a primary key? Can I have repeated values for a primary key? Okay. Now, can a table have more than one primary key? Can a table have more than one primary key? Yes. Anil, how is that possible? I'm not talking about composite key, Amma. I'm talking about more than one primary key. So every one of you says yes. No, no. Okay. So a table can have one primary key, two primary keys, or n primary keys. Ma. Just try to look into that. Okay. Ma, I've put the same activity what you have done in the previous class. Go through the activity once. Now, all of you can uh, do one thing. See, I hope you are getting this screen, ma. I hope you are getting this screen on the question on your tessellator. Yes, no. Okay. So comment the first line. Comment the first line. Comment the first line. Display all the details of employee table. Comment it using backslash star followed by star backslash. Are you doing this, all of you? And then use your roll number. Use your roll number. Use your roll number. Here it is given as DBMS D team. In place of DBMS D team, you write your roll number. You write your roll number and then you try to run it. Save it and run it once. Save it and run it once. Are you doing that now, all of you? Save it and run it. Once you are done with running that, comment the complete thing, ma. Comment the complete thing from line number 1 to the last line. Comment it. Okay. Now, after the last line, again try to use your roll number followed by select star from EMP. Select star from EMP. Save the query, execute it and evaluate it. Save the query, execute the query and evaluate the query. Are you getting evaluated now at least? Yes. Those who had problems in the previous class, are they able to execute it right now? 6P. What is the problem, 6J? 6J, initially I asked you only to comment the first line. In place of DBMS D team, you put your roll number, save that, run your application, and then comment the whole process. Use your roll number at the bottom and try to evaluate it. Do the process once. 6J. 70, still there is a problem, ma? '70, I told you clearly, Amma, first you have to run the table using your database, insert all the values, then only you have to do. Or else I'll 1 minute. Amma, see, it should be this way. The first line is comment the first line, whatever is there. Then use your roll number. The complete roll number, follow it with a semicolon. And here there is a star followed by hash, remove that. Try to run this complete thing once before you actually work with your query. So this is what you have to do. All of you see this mark. Use your roll number, save the process, run the process once, and once you are done with saving and running the process, completely comment this until here. Then you use roll number, semicolon, write the query. This is what you're going to do, Amma. Please follow this. Is it clear? still not working, 6J. Have to check your database once again, ma. I'll see it. What is the error you're getting? 6J? Bhavana? What is the error you're getting, ma? 6J? Employee does not. You have to, you do one thing, ma. You drop table once, comment everything and drop your table once. Comment all the complete data and drop the table once. Completely comment it, don't delete it, okay? Comment everything and drop your employee table. Actually, you did not create the employee table, Amma. That is the problem you're getting.